3.5 years ago, we built our passive solar greenhouse. It is the center of our thriving permaculture garden, and in this video we will have a look at the construction of the greenhouse and its different functions. If you watched the video of the building process of the greenhouse, you already know that the foundation of the greenhouse is made with concrete, and the east, west and north walls are built with timber and a light clay insulation that is held in place with reed mats. Only the south side is glazed with 25 mm thick polycarbonate. On the inside, the clay walls are painted white to reflect more light inside the greenhouse, and the plants get light from all directions. To vent our greenhouse, we have doors on the west and east side. In summer I only need to open these two doors and the greenhouse stays cool. If we need a little less ventilation, we close the doors and replace the lower panels of the doors with some fencing on a wooden frame. Additionally, we have small flaps on the top and the bottom of the greenhouse. These small flaps are the first things I open in spring when the first bits of cooling are needed. To open the top flaps, we have built a mechanism with wood, a few screws and some ropes. The roof of the greenhouse is one of the main water sources on our property, and it collects water into the tank in the greenhouse. This tank supplies us with clean water throughout the year. When it freezes outside, it is the only available water on the property that we need for our plants and our chickens. To be able to store the collected rainwater in high quality for a long time in the warm conditions inside the greenhouse, we filter the water with a fine nylon filter before it enters the tank. Additionally, a plastic cover protects the tank from sunlight. When the tank is full, it overflows into the pond in front of the greenhouse. We also use the water of this tank for our outdoor sink that is attached to the outside of the building. However, the tank is situated too low to create enough water pressure, which is why we first pump the water into a bucket a little higher with a hand pump. A simple garden hose then takes the water outside to the sink. The wastewater from the sink then continues into a reed bed and then overflows into our pond. The pond in front of our greenhouse is positioned in such a way that it reflects the winter sun into the greenhouse. This helps a lot to store as much warmth as possible in winter. The pond also reflects the sunlight to the entrance of the greenhouse, where a lot of warmth builds up even when it freezes outside, and we love to enjoy the sun there. The integrated tool shed is also an important part of our greenhouse. Here we have a workbench, many tools, and we store the grains for our chickens in there. To store stuff like building materials and other things, we have a sheltered space on the north side behind the greenhouse. And what about the plants? Right now we grow kumquats, lemons, oranges, figs, ginger and laurel inside the greenhouse. The great thing about growing citrus trees is that the fruits ripen in winter. It's quite an exciting feeling to be able to harvest organically grown Austrian kumquats in a greenhouse that only uses the sun as an energy source. We also use our passive solar greenhouse for starting all our seedlings. Due to the constant warmth, the bright light and the good humidity inside the greenhouse, this works really well. As you see, our passive solar greenhouse is much more than a growing space for plants. And in my opinion, a building like this needs these multiple functions in order to be worth the effort building one. If your winters aren't too harsh like ours here in Austria, and you just want to grow winter greens and summer tomatoes in a sheltered space, you might better build a polytunnel or a normal greenhouse, because these buildings are much cheaper and easier to build. You will very likely even have better and faster growth in a polytunnel, because more light reaches the plants inside of it. If your winters are really cold and long, a passive solar greenhouse is the right choice, because it stores warmth for longer and your vegetables will be safe. But in our case, the passive solar greenhouse is designed as a multifunctional center of the garden and not only as a growing space for plants. Our passive solar greenhouse is an essential part of our garden we do not want to miss. A building like this can bring so many benefits to a garden or a farm if well adapted to its specific needs and individual requirements. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. I very appreciate it. Thanks for watching and see you next time.